Welcome to Earth and Kind Quests. My name is Mike. This video shares about how to manage monsters with a burrowing speed in Dungeons & Dragons. In a recent episode of Nemesis Battles, a purple worm attacked 3 adventurers, and the 50-foot burrow speed of the purple worm influenced what happened during the battle. Burrowing allows for a creature to move through loose earth, potentially gaining full cover. In most cases, the loose sand, mud, or other particles will refill the space behind a burrowing creature, thereby blocking the path. The only exception to this rule is when a trait specifically allows for moving through solid material. For instance, the trait of a tunneler allows for a purple worm to create a tunnel through solid rock at half of its burrow speed, while leaving behind a tunnel of 10 feet in diameter. In the example encounter here, the purple worm moved through loose sand. Solid rock was not a major factor. I considered about the purple worm maybe emerging up from the desert sands and blasting through a structure or through the ancient ruins in this encounter. Given the wording of the tunneler trait, though, I interpreted that the purple worm could move through solid, natural rock, but not through artificial stonework construction or through a magical barrier. Nonetheless, the purple worm certainly could damage and probably destroy these structural ruins. If a person could guide and instruct the purple worm, then I might apply the siege monster trait that can cause double damage to an object or structure. If you will want to see this kind of large-scale siege encounter, then please give a comment in this video. The example encounter started when the purple worm breached the surface, and then all of the participants rolled for initiative. During its first turn of the combat, the purple worm made all of its attacks, and then it used its burrow speed to submerge itself beneath the loose sand of the desert. In this way, the worm blocked its opponents from being able to target it. Furthermore, the worm was grappling and restraining one opponent, and it could carry the grappled target along with it while burrowing.
The purple worm is gargantuan size. It can move at its regular speed when grappling a target of large size or smaller. As a gargantuan-sized creature, a purple worm typically occupies a space of 20 feet. In this case, I decided that the worm needed to burrow at least 30 feet downward in order to be completely covered by a barrier of sand. During the worm's next turn, then it could use 30 feet of burrowing to re-emerge while still retaining another 20 feet of its total movement.
Whenever the worm next could start a turn with at least 30 feet of its movement, then it could try again with this burrowing trick. One more consideration was about how the burrowing could trigger an opportunity attack. A purple worm happens to make its attack with a 10-foot reach, and therefore it often, but not always, can be outside the standard 5-foot reach of most opportunity attacks. Furthermore, a purple worm might not be overly concerned about opportunity attacks, given its reasonably tough armor class and large amount of hit points. In this example case, 2 of the characters had learned the Warcaster feat. If they were in melee contact with the purple worm, then they could have cast debilitating spells instead of their regular opportunity attacks. Conceivably, they could have planned for this kind of approach, for instance if they could anticipate that the purple worm would attempt to burrow. However, they were not in melee contact at the time when the purple worm made its burrowing move. The light cleric deliberately stayed outside melee contact. The devotion paladin did not yet act in the initiative order. Another complication is about how an opportunity attack happens only when a creature exits the reach of an opponent. In this situation of the purple worm burrowing downward, arguably the desert sands filled over the worm and blocked the potential for opportunity attacks. In reality, burrowing beneath the ground can create enormous pressure to crush a creature. This aspect is not specified within the game rules of Dungeons & Dragons, just like the pressure of diving deep beneath the ocean typically is hand-waved in order to allow an underwater adventure. Perhaps you could use the game mechanics of the hazard of suffocation. Most combat encounters last only about 1 minute. Any character could withstand a suffocation hazard for at least 30 seconds and probably for 1 minute or longer. For the purple worm encounter, I prepared with the rules about suffocation, but these rules did not become relevant. Nobody was forced beneath the ground for long enough time to create a potential problem. In the future, I might consider to add a static 2d6 of bludgeoning damage for any creature that starts its turn in this kind of submerged environment without a burrowing speed. For the sake of simplicity of the game mechanics, I would interpret that a creature with a burrowing speed can avoid the potential crushing pressure while burrowing. Ideally, in the purple worm's perspective, the combat approach starts with a bite attack. A successful bite attack delivers 3d8 plus 9 piercing damage, and automatically the target is grappled and restrained, such as being held inside the worm's mouth. Against the grappled and restrained target, the worm now can attempt its tail stinger attack with advantage against the restrained opponent and producing an extraordinary amount of damage. Next, the purple worm can use its bonus action to attempt to swallow the target, requiring a DC 19 strength saving throw, and then imposing extra problems for a swallowed target. Whether or not the swallow can be successful, then next the purple worm can use its burrow speed to find total cover beneath the ground. In the example here, I interpreted that the purple worm could manage most of its regular features while burrowing, including the bite attack, yet I consider that the surrounding sands impeded the ability to use the tail stinger effectively. In this case, the worm burrowed back up to the surface in order to proceed with the tail stinger attack. Otherwise, I would have wondered about the purple worm staying beneath the ground, burrowing, and inevitably wearing down its opponent in just a matter of time. This kind of approach might seem logical in the worm's perspective, attacking one target and then disappearing beneath the ground until the target eventually will be defeated, while the other characters can do probably nothing whatsoever to change this outcome. For these reasons, I added a gemstone device that produced a thumping vibration, attracting the purple worm up to the surface and enabling a backup plot device for the purple worm to resurface instead of staying beneath the ground and denying the characters of their engagement and agency. Even when the surrounding space is blocked with sand or other material, the purple worm still can perceive with its blind sight of 30 feet and its tremor sense of 90 feet. This range of perception is sufficient for a purple worm to maneuver in most situations. In this scenario, while the purple worm was beneath the ground, the characters above the ground could not target the worm. Instead of wasting their turns with nothing to do, they decided to use the ready action to prepare spells to cast at the purple worm, triggered whenever they would see the worm to breach the surface again. This approach does not always work. The rules about the ready action are more complicated than what many people might expect at first. The specified triggering event might not occur. Additionally, a prepared spell requires the spellcaster's concentration. Furthermore, the prepared or ready action can be completed only when using a reaction at the time of the triggering event. In this particular case, the paladin and the cleric both prepared ready actions with spells, and they were effective. In my view, burrowing can add extra thematic and mechanical elements into an encounter. In the example with a purple worm, the burrowing gained more potential when combined with the purple worm's other traits and features. What are your thoughts and experiences about fighting with burrowing creatures in Dungeons & Dragons? Please share in the comment section. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.